Do you know where your water comes from?
Most people have no idea that we share water into Alabama, actually into South Carolina, and down to Orlando.
We think we know where the water table is by coming out here and looking at this sinkhole. When we had those 11 or 12 years of drought, this thing was perfectly dry. That's what this always reminds me of when I come out here, just how fragile that system is.
In Florida, we have one of the most productive aquifer systems, the Floridan aquifer. And if you look up, you'll see a spring. Because of the productive aquifer, we have over 900 springs in Florida. So that's what we're looking up into there. You can notice the clear water, such great quality.
Usually we see springs from this side. The Water Ventures display was visiting Monticello for the Sharing Water Conference. The conference centered on the Floridan aquifer and issues facing it. The idea was that people would talk and find solutions to those issues. And part of that is seeing things with a different perspective.
Water conservation is important, and kids of all ages can do it. So that's something that we empower students to be able to do, that they can recycle and conserve water and make a difference.
So we have a wonderful Florida aquifer, but what we really got to do is carry the message throughout our state, and certainly in North Florida, that we have a serious issue on our hands with water. And it's getting worse every year. There's been some problems with our springs the last few years in terms of the quantity of water and the quality of water. So we've got to make this a priority.
Quantity of water is tied to rainfall and water consumption. Quality of water is tied to pollutants and nitrogen, which can be introduced into waterways by fertilizer and sewage. Agriculture has a large impact on both quality and quantity.
Individuals use maybe 11 or 12% of the water that's used. All the rest is agriculture and industry. And our biggest conservation efforts today are in agriculture.
Everything has to have some kind of economic value. There's a balance. Farmers, I think, are the original environmentalists, and so we've always been interested in helping the environment be green, but we're also interested in saving money, so whatever we can do and save money and help the environment, it's a win-win.
That's why Fred is growing his plants with this water.
This is tap water, and this is a glass of our treated effluent that you cannot tell the difference between it and a glass of drinking water. Wastewater comes into the effluent structure, and all the sand and settables and silt are out of it. It goes into the carousel wastewater treatment plant process. This wastewater treatment plant actually takes all the municipal sewage from the city of Monticello. We treat it, chlorinate it, send it out to a local nursery, Simpson's Nursery.
How big is your nursery?
It's a little over 1,000 acres, maybe 1,200.
And how much water do you use every day?
We use 2 million gallons a day.
Wow. And how much do you get from the city?
About 450,000 gallons. We put in an extensive ditching system, so all the water comes back to this lake. We have 3 lakes on the place. All the water comes back to one of those 3 lakes, and then we reuse it over and over again. It's been calculated we save anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000 a year just in energy cost.
By using reclaimed water and recycling his water, he's removing a smaller quantity from the aquifer. By using a more efficient fertilizer, he may be helping the quality as well.
We use all what they call time-release, slow-release fertilizer, and it just, you know, Steve runs a test out here. Our nitrogen levels haven't really changed. There again, we don't like to waste nitrogen. Why don't we like to waste nitrogen? Cause money.
It's what farmers have always done. catch the waste stream and see if they can't transform it.
Turkey Hill Farm works to keep nutrients in the soil and out of waterways using organic techniques.
The fish waste was going to the landfill. Now it is a very valuable thing to us. So we get the people that do the wood chips, we make contact with them, and we get wood chips. They would, in 3 years, become digested enough that they'd be useful to plants. But by adding the fish waste, we do it in 3 months. You'll get hot compost that sterilizes, kills any weed seeds that might be in your. This stuff is hot. I mean, it's regularly over 140 degrees.
Katie Harris apprenticed at Turkey Hill before opening Full Earth Farm in Quincy. To see how her compost was impacting a nearby waterway, she got help from our very own Cy Girls.
Cy Girls showed up in July, it's probably 3 years ago. By July, there's not a lot going on in the garden. I think they probably thought they were going to see more plants. But what I don't think they expected was to have so much fun what we call compost land back here. They climbed on the piles, they were inspecting everything, finding fish bones, asking tons of questions. And then we tested the water, which is downhill from our compost operation. The hypothesis was there would be a lot of nitrogen and probably phosphorus in the water from runoff from the compost. And when they found that it wasn't, the levels weren't high. And I hoped that would be what they found, but I had never tested it. So that was really cool.
These farmers have found ways to reduce their impact on waterways, and many ideas were exchanged at the Sharing Water Conference. But Senator Montford cautions against feeling satisfied with just that.
When they leave this conference today, my hope is, and my charge to them is to keep the dialogue going. Don't go home and feel good about what we've done the last 3 days. Let's go home and let this be the beginning of a long, extended dialogue.
Main Street Monticello plans to hold the conference every 2 years. They also plan to archive discussions from this and every successive conference at their website. For WFSU, I'm Rob Diaz de Villegas.